Hello, Stephen White. Doctor Who. There is a rumour that Jodie Whittaker and Chris Chibnall have actually left the show. Now, I haven't really covered any Doctor Who stuff at all because I've never been a huge fan. I watched it when I was a kid a bit, and then I think I watched the first season when it came back. And it was going to be a DVD thing. I'll just get the DVDs, I'll watch it properly later. I didn't watch it like week to week past like the first year. So I haven't seen the last year. Now, what I've heard, because there's a lot of drama and I didn't do any videos, there's a lot of stuff happening and I could have talked about it before. I don't know enough about Doctor Who, especially the history. So I did a bunch of research, I found a bunch of documentaries, a bunch of old DVDs. It's hard, there's so much Doctor Who and I don't think all of it is even available. And then there's the stuff that's missing, blah, blah, blah. So I've seen a bit of it and what I've heard was that basically, when they changed the sex of the Doctor, they didn't just change the actress, the sex, the character, blah, blah, blah. They also changed the tone and the writing style and a lot of things as well. So a lot of people weren't just reacting to her character, they're also reacting to the show. And the complaint is that the show is now boring. They just do political stories like the Rosa Parks story, and there's no great aliens or villains or anything fun about the show anymore. It's not fun. It's not like a fun sci-fi show anymore. It's a preachy, and some of the people I've seen, they're not your stereotypical butch, misogynistic kind of guys. They're just your average comic nerd sort of guys, and they've just said it's kind of boring. It's gone downhill, and it's been a slow progression. It didn't just start with the Jodie Whittaker season. And then, of course, I know some other people who like the show who are absolute SJ warriors who say they're all misogynistic, blah, 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 and I'm like, they seem to have valid criticisms that don't have anything to do with the sex of the character. So I sort of just decided to stay out of it because I'm like, I haven't watched the show and I haven't watched enough of the, this season I haven't watched enough of the show as a whole to really work out with that. Star Trek I'm confident to talk about. Star Wars I'm confident to talk about. Doctor Who I wasn't. But this latest news now, sadly, it comes from Doomcock, and I've been following the fandom Menace for a while. I've usually watched this guy's videos, and they tend to be haters. They tend to jump on anything that suits their narrative. Now, a lot of the stuff they talk about is true, but some of it hasn't been, and I've been bitterly disappointed because they said Star Trek Discovery was cancelled, and they said they weren't going to do a second year, and they said they definitely weren't going to do a third year because they pretty much lost funding. And there were other shows that had been greenlit but lost funding and didn't go on. So I thought maybe it just would lay there and they'd say, oh, we're going to bring it back after Picard or we're going to bring it back at a later date, and it never would. But it started filming, it's coming. So I got excited thinking, oh, wow, and no. So they've fooled me a few times. They've been right about other things as well, so I'm going to keep watching them. I find them interesting, and they do their research, which is the reason why I watch their videos for the most part, because they're just a good source of information, and they do seem to have people on the inside, but that doesn't mean those people aren't feeding them rumours when it when it will give them videos and clicks, and that the whole doom and gloom, my enemies will fail sort of narrative that a lot of the YouTubers have gets a bit tired because I've kind of I still watch Clownfish and Free Buck Theatre and stuff like that like all the time because I know they're going to be fairly objective. They're going to say, I don't like this, I think this is going to happen, but then they'll do a lot of detail and do their research, and they will consider the other side as well. So I'm trying to find people that are in the middle. I'm trying to be in the middle myself. I'm trying to be a centralist. So, but the rumor is, because I waffled on about everything but the rumor is that Chibnall wanted to make female Daleks and make a lot of changes to the Daleks and some of the elements of the show, and they said no, that's too much for the licensees. They don't want to change a bunch of things. They kind of know what's selling and what's not selling, and they don't believe what you're offering is going to sell. So we're losing money on merchandise, which apparently was a big part of the BBC's funding of Doctor Who. I don't know if that's true, but it does seem to be part of the business model for a lot of TV shows and movies, so that would make sense. And he basically, when he was told, no, you can't do this creatively because it doesn't work with our merchandise, he walked. And when he went, Jodie Whittaker went as well, because they did come in together, and the talk was, my understanding was, they were both going to leave after season 12 anyway. So she walked, and they coaxed her back, probably something to do with the fact she had a contract, and got her to do a regeneration scene to sort of end off her era. And they're going to go back to a male actor because supposedly boys don't like playing with female character toys. Not sure if that's 100% true, but in the case of Doctor Who, maybe it was. I don't know that, but that's their understanding. And I've always heard that marketing-wise, that boys don't like female characters. And I remember a lot of the Star Trek shows and a lot of shows I used to watch when they had toy lines, the girls were usually the last characters to come out. But I played with them, and I saw other people playing with them, so I'm not sure if that's just some archaic sort of stereotypical assumption. Like, a lot of marketing things are just ridiculous when they say, oh, this won't work, that won't work, and it's usually because they just haven't tried it, and usually when someone else does, then they all jump on board, and it's a revolution. So I don't know if that was what happened. I don't know if this is happening at all. This may just be rumour. BBC has come out and said, no, it's just rumours, it's not ending that way, it's not happening that way. So, but I don't know, I thought I'd finally do a video on Doctor Who just because I do like the show, and I have watched a bit of it now, and I would like to get into it, and that's kind of the fun. There is so much of it to explore. It's just, I don't know where to start. How far do I go back? Do I just do the best episodes, the ones people are talking about, the characters that are popular and familiar, or do I try and go back and then just do season by season? So it's kind of fun to explore it all, but it's also quite a headache and difficult to actually manage. But so that's the rumour. Don't know if it's true. We'll see. This is the thing. All this stuff comes to pass, and you do see who's making stuff up, who's misinformed, who was in on the inside, who knew what was happening, who was being honest. And it's kind of interesting. I've watched a few shows, followed a few shows, and seen how this sort of thing is played out on YouTube, and it'll be interesting to see what happens. But hopefully the next season makes fans happy and doesn't take a huge step backwards or anything to do it. But we'll see. But thanks for watching. Feel free to like and subscribe, and please comment. I love comments. I love reading other people's comments. I think that's one of the more fun parts, the conversation that comes from YouTube and the YouTube community. I'd like to be a bigger part of it. Thanks. Bye.